This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Practicing self-control by not playing Prince again. This is Wretched Radio. Practicing self-control, not only does it apply to what button you push for a musical sound effect, but also how we engage in controversy. John Newton, Mr. Amazing Grace, writing a letter to a ministerial friend who is going to write a public critique of another minister. John Newton, without apology, said, I'd like to jump into this before you set pen to paper and help you think through the issue of controversy, how we deal with other people when we disagree, especially publicly in this context, by considering three things. Number one, consider your opponent. If they're a believer, you're going to be with them forever in heaven. If they're not a believer, don't you want them there? We don't want to turn them off by being there's a Greek word. No, it's a Hebrew word. Chirk. It's spelled Jerk, but in Hebrew it's chirk. We could lose the war by winning a little tiny skirmish. We don't want to do that. Number two, consider the public. If you are posting something on the internet, you are tweeting something out, you are writing a critique of somebody, making a YouTube video, remember the public. By printing, you will appeal to the public, where your readers may be ranged under three divisions. First, those who disagree with you. Concerning these, I may refer you to what I've already said. You want to win them, right? Though you have your eye upon one person chiefly, there are many like-minded with him, and the same reasoning will hold, whether it is to one or to a million. We've got a bigger agenda when we engage in controversy. There will be likewise many who pay too little regard to religion. So these are people who are just they're not aware of anything. They don't think through these issues, but they're going to be reading about it. These are very incompetent judges of doctrine, but they can form a tolerable judgment of a writer's spirit. They may not get what it is that you're after, but they'll get how you're going about it. They can perceive that. The theologically untrained maybe don't know what it is that you're about when it comes to this particular issue because they don't get it, but they get you and they get your tone. They know that meekness, humility, and love are the characteristics of a Christian temper. Don't exhibit that, you lose. They're quick-sighted to discern when we deviate from such a spirit and avail themselves of it to justify their contempt of our arguments. Oh, the guy's such a jerk. Oh, he's so mean. Oh, he fill in the blank. That's how they judge it. And we want to remove that so that they don't think that our argument can be dismissed because of the way that we delivered it. The weapons of our warfare, and which alone are powerful to break down the strongholds of error, are not carnal but spiritual. Arguments fairly drawn from scriptures and experience and enforced by such a mild address as may persuade our readers that whether we convince them or not, we wish well to their souls and contend only for truth's sake. That's what we need to be thinking about. But there's a third class of readers that you might have, and those people who agree with you. You may be instrumental to their edification if the law of kindness as well as of the law of truth regulates your pen. Otherwise, you may do them harm. There's a principle of self which disposes us to despise those who differ from us. And when we are under that influence, when we think we are only showing a becoming zeal in the cause of God, we lose. Even if you win the argument, you lose. Because we are about a bigger thing when it comes to the subject of controversy. We consider the person that we're writing about, and we consider all those that may view it. And people do read your posts. They do. Facebook, the YouTube machine. Controversies, writes Newton, for the most part, convince and puff up those whom they should edify. I hope your performance will savor of a spirit of true humility and be a means of promoting it in others. How are you doing with your posts, with your critiques, blogs, videos? When you teach in Sunday school, how do you talk about folks? Is this easy? Not a chance. Number 3, maybe this will inspire you. to temper your tone with your pen. Consider yourself. We find but very few writers of controversy who have not been manifestly hurt by it. Either they grow in a sense of their own importance or imbibe an angry, contentious spirit, or they insensibly withdraw their attention from those things which are the food and immediate support of the life of faith and spend their time and strength upon matters which are at most but a secondary value. This shows that if the service of engaging in controversy is honorable, it is dangerous to you. Isn't that true? Haven't you seen people like this? They just, I'm sick of it. And then they just disengage, and then they get all liberal and squishy, and they just drift. On the other hand, you get people who love to contend for the faith who get contentious and get ugly and nasty and sharp. They're engaging in everything. Every bad book has to be discussed. Every bad sermon has to be revealed. Everybody who says something wrong has got to be chided. And that becomes the totality of their carriage. And it's not pretty because it's not Christ-like. What will it profit a man if he gains his cause, silences his adversary, but he loses that humble, tender frame of spirit in which the Lord delights and to which the promise of his presence is made? Watch for yourself when you write. Your aim could be good, but you have need to watch and pray, for you will find Satan at your right hand to resist you. He will try to debase your views. And though you set out in defense of the cause of God, if you're not continually looking to the Lord to keep you, it may become your own cause and awaken in you the tempers which are inconsistent with true peace of mind and will surely obstruct communion with God. Question: if you've been struggling in that area, communion with God, sweet time with the Lord, take a look at how often you're engaged in controversy. And maybe that has become what Christianity is to you. I'm not saying you're not a believer. I'm saying you're off course. And that you need a little bit of a shift in the sails because you're headed in a foul direction. Maybe, just maybe, this is worth considering as the source of our bad attitude. Be upon your guard against admitting anything personal into the debate. If you think you've been ill-treated, you'll have an opportunity of showing that you are a disciple of Jesus, who when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not. This is our pattern. Thus we are to speak and write for God, not rendering railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that hereunto we are called. The wisdom that is from above is not only pure, but peaceable and gentle. And the want of these qualifications, like the dead fly in the pot of ointment, will spoil the savor and efficacy of our labors. If Newton is right, and I think he is, let's just say you've got it nailed. You've got the subject mastered. You know it from A to Z. And you are now going to engage. And if you do it without living up to the peaceable and gentle spirit that must accompany our truth speaking, then you've lost. You've lost. It's for naught. Wasted your time. You've wasted others' time. You've wasted energy. Because there's something else besides truth. It is the spirit that accompanies it. It either supports the truth or it undermines it. So if you take out, let's just say when it comes to controversy, it's a two-legged stool. I know those don't balance, but let's just work with the analogy. You've got truth and you've got peaceableness, gentleness, fruit of the spirit, love, joy, etc. Pull one away, you lose the argument. The whole thing crumbles. The wisdom that is from above is not only pure, but peaceable and gentle. If we act in a wrong spirit, we bring little glory to God, do little good to our fellow creatures, and procure neither honor nor comfort to ourselves. I hope you have a far nobler aim, wrote Newton, and that, sensible of the solemn importance of gospel truths and the compassion due to the souls of men, you would rather be a means of removing prejudices in a single instance than obtain the empty applause of thousands. This tells me why cable news is popular. Because this disposition inside of us to be controversy battlers, just to engage and jump in and win at all costs. In fact, the definition of winning these days on cable news is you one-up them. You out-wordsmith them. You catch them. Got them. Or, you some sort of oratorical nasty, and you got them. And the reason that those things are so successful on cable, the ratings are so high, is because it plays right into an inclination which existed in the century that John Newton wrote these words on controversy. You and I need to be better than cable news talk hosts and guests. We represent Jesus Christ. There's a bigger battle. We don't want to win some sort of oratorical skirmish. We want to win souls for the glory of God. Now discuss and engage. This is Wretched Radio. Pepperoni pizza for Pete, which in an odd way is a lot like the difference between imputation and expiation. Are you familiar with the difference, Pete?
I didn't order a pizza?
But it actually in Latin means completely, to completely atone. It's a Latin word, expiationem. And yet an action noun because it comes from the past participle stem of...